My first name is Connor. I'm from Conestoga of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. My in-game name is Akuyo. Akuyo is a song by a famous rapper named Kyle, and I really enjoyed the song a lot, and I thought it was a pretty cool word. It's repeated a bunch throughout the song, and it's the whole premise, and it's a cool word, so I just kind of stuck. I've been playing video games since I was like 3 or 4, starting with like Pokemon and like Halo and all those sorts of games. I like playing competitive video games because teamwork's fun and just meet a lot of pretty cool people that you can get along with. I got into Overwatch. I got into Overwatch back before the game was released in beta. A couple of friends showed me some the trailers and stuff for it, and we ended up getting it on PS4 and playing a bunch, and it was pretty fun. And then I stopped playing for a while, and then I got back into it about a year or 2 ago. My favorite character probably is Genji. He's pretty bad right now, but he's a lot of fun. So I typically play DPS a lot, but I'm ranked highest on all. I've like hit the highest rank in the game in all 3 roles, so I can play pretty much everything. I joined Penn Manor's Overwatch team because I had a really big interest in Overwatch, and when I saw it was Overwatch, I kind of felt like obligated to join because I mean I'm pretty good, and it's just a lot of fun to meet other people that have same interests.
My name is Isaac. I am from North Carolina, Charlotte, and then I grew up around Conestoga. My in-game name is Isaac. The story kind of started 17 years ago when I was born. It was the name I was given, and stuck with that. I've been playing video games since about 5th grade, maybe. Probably started playing Minecraft. So I love playing competitive video games. It's the feeling of winning, knowing you did better than the person you were playing against. I mean, working as a team is always a fun experience. I got an Overwatch from playing Counter-Strike for a long time. A lot of the professionals in Counter-Strike switched to Overwatch. I decided to give it a try when the beta came out, and I've been playing since. My favorite character to play is probably McCree. I enjoy the DPS role, and hit scan is the most fun for me. So I joined Penn Manor's Overwatch team. I'm a senior. I wanted to have something to do after school. I did some research last year in AP Research on esports here, so this seemed like the logical next step. Being a part of Penn Manor Esports is a great experience to be a part of a team and get to know people with similar interests throughout Penn Manor.
All right, welcome to Penn Manor Esports Gold. I'm one of your hosts here, Scott Herzog.
I'm Coach Craig.
We have Coach Craig back in the saddle today. Jared is playing, and we are about to take on Lebanon High School. It is LHS Blue that we are coming against. So this is a big match. This is the third match that Gold has played, one of them being a forfeit prior to that. So this is technically the third game they played, winning last week by a pretty good margin. You played that game, right?
Yeah.
How was it playing?
Oh, it was fun. Everybody, I realized that mostly everyone's now talking to each other. From our first game that we lost, there was like no communication. So
And
it was a big change.
Jared Braun and I were talking last week about how communication for that team, despite how good they are, is key for them really working together
Yeah, I
well.
mean, mechanically we all know what we're doing, but communication is a big part of it still, even if you're just mechanically good at the game. I mean,
Right.
as long as we were talking to each other, it was perfectly fine. We had strategies that we were going with. We changed characters up when we needed to. We just played right, and that's why we pretty much won.
Awesome. Very good. So they're going to be playing the map Kings Row. What do we need to know about the map before we jump into that one?
Kings Row is a hybrid map. Is a assault and escort map. So first you capture a point, and then you take the payload.
Then you take the payload, which
Yep.
we've seen, and if you've tuned into the games before, you know that that's something that we've done as that they've done as a team prior to this. Um, Now, so I want to ask you a question. This is kind of related, but not necessarily. I'm going to pop this on you, see how you answer it. There's, bringing esports into a high school like this and a game like Overwatch. What value do you see bringing into this has in the educational system for you? I mean, where do you see the value? I guess working as a team and so on,
I
the kind of
mean,
strength for you.
really, so working as a team can go later on in life. Being able to work with others, communicate pretty much, helps with communication skills. Some of these people were like people that didn't even know, didn't really talk that much to each other. Now we pretty much friends, talk all the time. So
Right.
I mean,
So it obviously
really
it builds
does.
friendships.
Oh yeah, it does. Um, that's about it. I mean, we all
Yeah,
got to know
well,
each
and I think
other,
the other
build
thing
together.
is each of you have very distinct roles that you're playing when you're
Oh
in,
yeah.
and it's learning how to communicate better,
Yeah.
how
I
to.
mean, that's like working in like an office or something. People have their distinct roles, what they're supposed to do, communicate together, do what they're supposed to do, get
There,
it done together.
there's
So,
also a lot of strategy. It's not just hopping in a game and
oh,
playing a video
oh
game. I mean,
yeah,
you have to learn how to navigate a map, how
yeah.
to work through it.
Overwatch is like it's like a game that you want to know what you're doing on the map. You want to know the map. You want to know all the areas. You don't want to mess up where you're going. You want to be with your team. You want to work with your team, and you want to pick the certain characters that are good in certain areas.
So there's definitely strategy when we look at the strategy building and figuring that out. It's understanding what characters mesh up against other characters and how to counteract that. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
All right, so we are just getting ready to start. We'll be starting in just a few moments here, and we're going to be working. We're going to be working with playing against Lebanon High School in just a second here, and we'll be right back in a moment. Can you hit the starting soon? All right, we are getting ready to begin the match. And this is against Lebanon High School. Little bit of rivalry here going between Penn Manor and Lebanon High School. Sean Kennedy, one of their tech guys, used to be a teacher here. And I know Charlie Reisinger is looking forward to us matching up against Lebanon to see how we do. And we'll see how it goes. It's hard to know how games are going to track because in some cases players aren't using their real accounts because they end up having school accounts.
Yeah, I mean, you can never really tell what people are gonna be like just by looking at their. Sometimes they have them blocked so you can't see it. Sometimes they have accounts that are on Xbox and PS4, so you don't really see them.
Yeah, so typically we have Jared Clark that comes in and actually is navigating, but Clay is here going to be navigating the screen and leading us through the map and also trying to talk, which is not always easy to do, right Clay?
Yeah.
It's like walk and chew gum at the same time. I'm sorry, I can't do that.
You can't?
No, I'm not able to do that, really. It's really a challenge.
Really?
It's a lot harder if I'm playing with Alienware, too.
Oh, right.
Had to bring that in, the
comment
Alienware comment
in. To do that one. So it looks like we're defending right now.
So we're defending first, right?
Yes. So we're going to be defending them, trying to get to the... So they're going to try to capture the point to get the payload, so we're going to try to defend, make sure they can't. There's only, like, one way they can really get through, and it's this middle area, so they got to really make sure they can do some damage and get them.
So what's going to be key for the gold team who's going to be in defending this point? What's important for them to do?
Staying behind shield and not letting Reinhardt die. I mean, that's gonna be a good thing. So,
right.
like, our Reinhardt died, so, I mean, that's not good.
Right,
Because that eliminates shield and that eliminates cover.
Right.
And they gotta make sure they're not running in one at a time or, like, by themselves, because that's also another way they could die really easily.
They also need to be aware of what shield is behind them, right?
Right.
Because weren't they busting on Akira for not being aware?
They gotta make sure. Well, the other team doesn't have a Mei, but they gotta make sure there's no Mei Ice Wall to quote unquote block them.
Right. We aren't calling anyone out, but Akira. No, I'm just kidding.
Jerry Elk just couldn't move around it somehow. So,
right.
uh,
So are they playing pretty well the standard lineup we've been seeing them play, or are we seeing any major switches here in the team?
not really. I mean, other than Connor's playing Doomfist right now. That's about it.
And Connor can literally play everything. So if Connor is a Kuyo, for those of you that are unfamiliar with the names that we have here.
Yeah, I mean, as of now, it looks like they're defending pretty good. They've killed their team multiple times now.
So they have to defend this place for the next 2 minutes, right? They have to hold. If they hold, it's game over, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll play once more, and this time we will take the attack point. It will be the offense.
So with 2 minutes left, it looks like we're defending pretty well. They used Zarya's ult, which Grav, which pulled everyone in, and then Doomfist used his ult to smash down on all of them, and we pretty much killed everyone doing that.
So it's a really good move. Those two characters really work well in tandem together.
Yeah. Well, we also got Reaper, and we have Moira's ult, so I mean, they can still stay alive for a pretty long time.
Meteor strike.
60 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining.
Yeah, I mean,
Muted, so you can't hear what I'm saying there for the last thing. You'll hear me
good.
play. I unmuted myself. I remembered I was muted just here a second ago. So here they're actually taking down J Ryder, Akira being taken down, but we still have 4 in, still solidly holding this point. And they have a pentakill there. They took 5 of their players out.
Looks
it's
like,
now
looks
in
like
overtime.
they got this one. It looks like we're gonna have to just capture point, and we're not even gonna have to capture full point. We're just gonna have to capture one
So
out
1
of 3,
point,
one
and
out
it'll
of
be
3
done.
ticks. Yeah.
All right. It looks like we have Jared here to help us manage the map. Do you want to let Jared in to manage chem now? So we'll be back in just a second. Nope. Can we have a chair for Jared? Here, Jared, you can use this chair. All right, we are about ready to start the second match here against Lebanon High School, Penn Manor Gold, holding them to the first point, not letting them get past it. They didn't even, Clay, they didn't even get any point. They didn't get any of the bars up at all,
Yeah,
right?
they didn't capture anything the way it looks. So yeah, all we're gonna have to do is just capture one part of it, and we'll got it. Looks like we're going a dive technique for some reason.
Are they doing something? Is that kind of unusual for them?
I mean, we did it last week, so not really.
Right.
Jeez.
All right. So what are you laughing at? Them swinging from the chandelier?
Laughing at them.
At them.
Yeah.
So they're getting ready to begin the game. This time we are playing offense, where Lebanon it will be defending the point. It's the same map. It's the same thing we saw before. It's just we're now going to be following.
It's just reverse. Now we're
Just
going.
reverse. We're going to see what they can do to hold Penn Manor back. What's the difference? Is it easier on some maps to defend than play offense on some maps?
Oh, yeah.
So
There's a few maps that like this one's a little bit easier to defend.
So in a lot of ways, if you're defense in this, this is a better.
Yeah. I mean, defense could be better on here, but you have to hold them at the one.
At the one point.
Yeah.
And so right now we're right inside there.
Yeah,
and
it looks like
matter.
we're gonna capture this first. Yep.
Capture
Yeah, it
this
looks like
first point.
They won this first game.
And so that is the first game. So congrats to Penn Manor Esports Gold for the win. We'll be back here in just a little bit. And it's a really good game to kind of get us started. Player of the game is Jay Ryder. We'll be talking with Jay Ryder a little bit after the entire match. You can see up here a little bit of replay of what made him do so well in this game. So we'll be back in just a moment, right after this. If you can click the, we'll be right back. Top one. All right, Penn Manor Gold is back again playing Lebanon High School. My name is Scott Herzog, and I'm sitting with Jared Braun.
Hello.
Yep, so Jared, you'll remember from last week, will help me narrate the game, and he played the first game, which went very well. Now, we're playing the map Dorado. What's important for us to know about this map as Penn Manor Esports Gold?
Oh, we got a slight issue.
We got a slight issue that one of them left.
He's back. He's back.
Initiating match.
So there might be a pause happening in the game. We had a person drop out and then join back in.
He's back.
So it looks like we are still good to go in the game.
Yes.
Sometimes issues like that happen where people leave the game, jump back in. But we are here, and it looks like we are good to go. So tell me about Dorado. What sort of map are we looking at here?
Dorado is a very interesting map. Most of them are more flat and very easy to navigate. Dorado has a lot more vertical mobility. So there's a lot. Like here, you see there's 2 rooftops. Right there, there's balconies and such.
And there's 3 ways to get into that spot, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of avenues.
Yes, there's a
Here,
lot of
so
ways.
this game we're on defense or offense to start.
We are currently on defense.
So we are defending. We're trying to keep them from escorting.
Yes.
Because this is an escort map.
We just gotta stop them from moving the truck at the start all the way to the end. Once that gets there, we'll see.
So the
what
goal of Lebanon High School is to move that truck from point A to point B, and there's actually a couple points along the way that there's kind of mile markers or markers they have to hit along the way, right?
happens. Yes, there is.
Right. So last game you were playing, what went right in that game for Penn Manor that really worked for you guys?
The one thing that really helped was one of the technical issues was how there was no kill feed ups. And I think that helped because had to make sure to communicate more for like who we got knocked down.
So we did have the kill feed on halfway through. We realized halfway through that there was no kill feed, and we kind of did that. So right now, Lebanon High School moving the payload a little bit toward the first point. There are 3 points up there. If you look at the top of the screen, the 3 points you need to hit in order to accomplish the task. And every time they hit a point, they get a little bit more time, right?
Definitely seem interesting comps. Both teams running 2 shields, however, with slightly different versions.
So diving into different variations.
Yes. As you see, Lebanon is actually running a very heavy tank. That little robot that's currently out, he basically transforms into a Gatling gun and can just spray through all the shields he wants.
And so the shields don't stop his attack at all.
Well, they stop for a short time until he just mows through them.
Okay. Right.
17 here, Isaac. Isaac
right.
just accidentally killing himself, but thankfully they
Isaac
got-
killed himself? Nice.
Yes, he did. He was too close to his ultimate ability, which is just a sticky bomb.
Okay.
He was too close, and Blastback got him.
So that's obviously something that you don't want to have happen to your team. So that was an error on Isaac's part. But how are they doing as far as keeping the payload from moving? We see that LHS has the payload about halfway to the first objective here with 2.5 minutes to go.
Yes, they've been doing pretty good. They've been able to hold them to this very small window where there's not a lot of space where you can.
Right. So this is kind of a choke point for them. I mean, Lebanon has to get the payload through here to begin moving it again. And right now it seems like Penn Manor is holding, although they're walking up with the shield.
Yeah.
Payload once again moving toward the first objective here.
It does look like Lebanon's going to take this point because they're able to knock out 2 people. They just got Craig, as you say. They just got him out, so unless somehow with that one ability they can stop it.
They can stop him, right.
They do seem to have mostly stopped it for now.
Right.
They
So
use-
2 ults up, 2 ultimates up.
Yeah, 2 ultimates up for each team. Penn Manor does seem to have a slight advantage since both Snacky J and J Ryder have their ultimates up. And those are very important because those help heal.
Just a little bit. Yeah, it's down a little bit. That's good. All right, and we'll see that they're reviving. So is that one of the Snacky J was reviving there, and that obviously brings him back to life.
Yes,
And
that's
keeps them in the game a little bit more. A minute to go, and Penn Manor is holding
very well, man.
holding the payload at its current position. LHS still over halfway to get to the first point of the payload. It looks like Penn Manor just might hold them from getting this first point. And then Penn Manor is going to need to do the same thing, keep that payload moving. So if they don't get to the first point of the payload? Does Penn Manor only have to hit the first point to win?
They don't have to even hit the first point. They just have to make it slightly past wherever that payload stopped.
Right, and now they're actually moving the payload backward. Not good for Lebanon High School.
That means that Lebanon has to hold much closer, which in turn makes it a lot harder. Because with defense, your respawn point is very far back, almost at the second point.
Right. So you're going to see here with 10 seconds left, it looks like Penn Manor is going to hold them to the first point.
Yes.
And
you gotta feel a little bad for the Bastion on the other team.
you do, because this is
this comp is very reliant on getting him on the payload so you can just start blasting.
Now Lebanon, are you seeing Lebanon work together as a team at least? Are they staying together? Are they on their own? Or are they kind of doing their own thing?
They've mostly been sticking together, but I feel like they should have stopped the composition they were running as soon as they got, just stop for now. Like, maybe switch that Bastion out for a more mobile hero. That would have been a lot better for its point.
So, Penn Manor Gold taking the first game of this series, and we now are going to be on Penn Manor Gold, going to be running offense this time, and trying to get that payload just past where the other team left it. So they do not have far to go.
No, they do not. They could, if somehow Lebanon Esports puts up a very strong defense and they can stop them, they could take this map still. Because if there's no drawing on this map, you either push it far enough or you don't.
Right. All right, well, in 40 seconds, we will see the attack come. This allows defense to kind of get in position, right?
Yes, it does. It allows setup. As you can see, once again, for Lebanon's run, they're running that almost the exact same composition as before.
Right.
Only like two or three slight differences.
Do we think that this is because these are characters that are familiar, that they've been playing with probably all season, is my guess?
I believe, maybe not all season, but they do most likely have a history playing with them.
Yeah. So how important for you in this game is the ability to switch between characters?
It's very important, depending on what the other teams are running. You need to break down a shield, or you need to just outmaneuver them.
You need to be able to answer what the other team's throwing at you, which is why it's important for you to kind of do that.
Penn Manor does seem to be doing good. As you can see, they have already started almost at the end. 2 players.
Yep, so they are moving. They just have to move the payload a little bit further to solidify the second game, and they will take the series 2-0 and will be ending it. So right now it's being contested.
Yes.
And once we get back to that camera.
Akira and Isaac doing very well.
Right, payload still moving forward just a little bit more, and we'll see if Penn Manor takes this game.
It looks like they will take it. Most likely be 2-0 for Penn Manor. And that is the game.
That is the game. A very short game. Penn Manor Esports Gold wins and wins the second round and thus wins the match. They win the match. And we'll see here Ikuyo taking player of the game here. We'll chat with him in just a second. And we'll also be checking with Jay Ryder, who was I guess, top guy of the first game, right?
It did seem to be like that.
Yep, so we'll be talking with them in just a second here. Akuyo, again, being kind of important in that match. All right, so we'll be back in just a second to chat with each of them. All right, we are back, and I'm sitting with Jay Ryder. Jay, who was player of the game in the first match here. Uh, what was important for you in carrying out the player of the game for the first match? I mean, it's a team effort, obviously, but
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely a team effort. The reason I got play is just because I dished out damage and healing at the same time with that all placement, and that just helped us win that battle.
but now obviously you were playing a team that was significantly weaker, and that obviously played into it. What went right for Penn Manor as you guys played? What communication? Were you doing better with communication than you were in other weeks? I mean, how's that all playing out for you guys?
Yeah, we definitely did a lot better with communication. There was a little bit of a hiccup with the kill feed, so we had to call out
Oh yeah,
to a
because you couldn't
guide and
rely on the kill
everything so
feed
we
that
could
first
know
game.
who
Yeah, it was turned on halfway through the game.
yeah.
So not having the kill feed really impacted your ability to just kind of rely on what the screen was telling you, and you had to really begin to rely on each other.
Yeah.
And it probably wasn't a terrible thing in the long run.
No,
No, no,
not at all.
you kind of need that. Um, I want to talk to. We'll be back in just a second to speak with Akuyo, the guy that was player of the game for the last match. Thank you for joining us. All right, I'm sitting here with Ikuyo, also known as Connor to the rest of us players here, and he was player of the game this last match. This last match, you guys held the payload. You kept the payload from getting past a certain point, and so all you guys had to do was to get it to that final point in the final round here. What for you guys? What went right for you this match?
Um,
I know
hmm.
it's working together, but
Yeah. Well, we had practiced King's Row a lot. Like we streamed a couple times with it, and so we kind of knew what we were doing. And same with Dorado. Like we knew what comp we would be rolling out with as soon as as soon as we started. So I think knowing our rotations and knowing different things about positioning is like important because when it's practice, it's a lot more it's a lot easier than just in like a ladder, like competitive ladder sort of situation. So
right.
it's a lot easier. Yeah.
Right, right. And so, I mean, you knew when when that map was chosen, you said, okay, well, this is the comp we're running,
Yeah.
right? So, for you, what kind of distinguished you as player of the game of this match?
I got hard pocketed by our Mercy. So
Okay.
so yeah, Ash right click secondary fire does just enough damage with a damage boost to one shot headshot. So it's like you're playing like a lower ranged Widow, but without the charge up time. And so we put all of our resources into that capability of just one shotting to be able to like kind of like you rely heavily on the damage boost pocket to get your kills and your damage. So
So very good. So Penn Manor is now 3-1.
yeah.
One of those, of course, being a forfeit. The
Hmm.
first one against Xavier Knights was the only loss that we had. But the past 2 weeks, we've been doing. You guys have been doing fairly well.
Yeah.
I know the communication was an issue at one point. How are you feeling about the way the team is communicating? I know the kill cam was down the first game, and that
Yeah.
obviously made you communicate.
Hmm. Um. Yeah, I feel like our first game was kind of like obviously we had been in the club sort of together, but we had not been like on like a team like specifically for a super long time. But now that we've played more together, and I feel like we've grown as a team, and we kind of just like are more like we're closer teammates than originally, so we feel more like comfortable kind of talking and making call outs. And
Right.
yeah, the kill cams at the beginning, I was so confused because
Yeah, you were in
our
chat like, where are the kill
yeah,
cams?
our Zarya just started chasing to the spawn room, and I didn't see anybody die, and there was no kill cam, so I just thought he was chasing their whole team, and I was telling our team to kite backwards because I thought everyone was still alive,
Right.
and then we kind of figured out, oh wait, kill cams aren't there,
Right.
and then I told everyone that we should if we get a kill, make sure you call it out so we know. So everyone
Right.
started calling the kills they would get.
And that obviously was helpful then.
Yeah.
Again, it's the important part about realizing where you're at and dealing with and working with the issue.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sitting
Yeah,
with
of
us, and we
course.
look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for joining us. This will be Penn Manor Gold signing out. We'll see you next week.